Artist Gail Rosenbloom Kaplan works with local schools' curriculums to develop murals that will be displayed in the Detroit Public Library. We caught up with Gail and her crew as they work with McDowell Preparatory Academy in Detroit.
Art is an amazing learning tool.
It's a release, it's a form of expression.
Art is really fun.
I can express myself.
You get to show your actual personality into the whole picture.
I think it taps into other forms of intelligences. It's like if you can be creative with your hands and with your eyes and in making art, you can also be creative in the choices that you make with your life. Our kids' potential is just unlimited.
The project was created, Barbara Cohn is a woman who founded a tour program for the Detroit Public Library. And she was very unhappy that the children's reading room was really not very inviting. Several people had mentioned the work of Donnie Katsir and myself. I said, you know, it's great when you can involve the kids in the schools to create the art, because that's really who you're trying to bring to the library.
So far, we've spelled the word manufacture. We've still got the ing to do. We've got our word agriculture, and we've got our word up here, which is tourism. Three huge parts of Michigan's economy.
We're really trying to get the kids to think about literacy and learning, so that's why we called it Literacy and Learning Installation. The artwork is created by the kids, but they have actually, in their schools, done curriculum based on the different themes. So every school had a different concept. Today we're at McDowell, which is a public charter school, and we wanted them to actually choose the unit that they wanted to study or that they were already doing as part of the curriculum and give it a creative twist.
We wanted to have our scholars involved in this project because it immersed social studies and science and the arts all at the same time. We came up with a few ideas. We decided on Michigan because we wanted our kids to just have this sense of ownership and be proud of the city that Detroit is and is growing to be, and also just be proud of Michigan overall and maybe get adventurous and want to explore more.
A lot of times, you ask scholars where they live and they're like, United States. Yes, we know that, right? But it's so important to build that pride within scholars to know, I live in Michigan, I live in Detroit, I live in the Motor City, to be able to speak intellectually about where they live, and also just to have that appreciation for their state and so many things that are here.
What do we make in Detroit? What are we known for? Cars. So you have a car here. So one of our artists did a car.
Kids were asked to do drawings that represented Michigan. So some of the kids highlighted the GM building. We have the Spirit of Detroit sculpture. They drew pictures of the zoo. They drew pictures of what they've experienced in Detroit. They drew pictures of the waterfront. Very common theme was the Joe Louis fist. Kids love sports, and Michigan has all these great sports teams. Even if they're not winning all the time, kids love sports.
We do have a huge number of universities, community colleges in Michigan, so all of you should be thinking about which one of those you are shooting your dreams for.
McDowell School does a big push on talking about college. So in our mosaic, the kids did drawings of the different universities. So we really tried to encourage the kids to really go from the city of Detroit to up north. We have the state bird, which is the robin. We have the apple blossom, which is the state flower. We have the white pine tree. So we had over 500 drawings done by the kids. So we really are using their drawings of those things. These are the kids' artwork, and that's what makes the pieces so charming in the mosaics.
My teacher, she said just think of something that you might draw, and I thought of this because it's a cool picture and it's a pretty picture.
I designed a train over a city with an American flag on the building.
So I tried to take the most common themes and I put them into a collage, and then Donnie Katsir, who's my glass mosaic partner, who I've worked with for 18 years, we took those drawings and assembled them into a master drawing, and we enlarged it to a 3-foot by 7-foot board, and we outlined it. We took the outline and we did the outline in glass. We work in a stained glass medium. Donnie, my partner, cut all of the glass into strips, and then we bring the strips into the school. A lot of times kids, they don't always want to draw, they don't always want to paint, but when you tell them they're cutting glass, I have the kids lined up to cut glass. It's not so dangerous. The kids are using a special cutter, they're careful, but they can actually use this clipper to actually cut the glass. And the kids are really excited by the physicality of it. And then they glue them into place. Because we've already outlined it, they're kind of filling in the colors. And at the end of the day, working with 300 kids, 400 kids, I tell them if I were in my own studio working on this, it would take me a few months. But by working as a community in the arts, that we're really working as one group. And I ask the kids to come at the end of the day to see the finished piece. And by the end of the day, the entire mosaic is done.
I think that people did a good job because I never knew that artists can do that, and it's cool because I never did it before.
We worked together like really good because I was with my friends and we had a great time.
It's one more way of learning is by using the art to draw the images. One more way of reinforcing. You know, we drew images of cherries and apple trees. I mean, it's just a tree, but it shows that this is industry, this is commerce, this is what we do in Michigan. So by studying this with the goal of doing an artwork and their images being included in the artwork, it makes the kids excited to learn their curriculum.
I would say the number one thing I've seen is that scholars are asking so many more questions. So it's sparked an interest for more information.
Through this art project, it's really interesting to see just like what things kids latched on to from particular lessons. One kid's still talking about a Sleeping Bear Dunes legend that they read like 3 months later, and that's what she chose to draw. And it's now actually in the mural. We visited an orchard, so it was great to see what an impact that had on a lot of them as well.
When you learn something new that you never learned before, you understand it more and you learn how to do it more.
I learned that there are a lot of stuff in Michigan.
I didn't know Michigan was the best state.
Very few of our schools in Detroit right now have art. So this was a great way of giving exposure to the arts and showing the power of the arts because the kids are really excited with what they're doing.
For all of our teachers and our staff, it showed that our kids are totally capable of making that art connection. In terms of the drawings and everything else, it was like this easier connection that we could use all the time.
Grows their confidence tremendously so that they know my learning is important, my efforts are important, and I can make a beautiful piece of art because of it.
This project right now is really exciting because the Detroit Public Library is in a city where the city itself is coming back to life. And we're part of it. What we're doing in the children's reading room is part of it. You know, these kids are part of the experience, and as an artist, I'm bringing people together. And I think it's just, you know, we're at the right time, at the right place to really shine and show how the arts are really taking center stage.